No, I got to lean in.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the original Wednesday Night Live. It's how it used to be. I'm here with Jamie and Chase. Love cannot be here tonight. She would be, but she's under the weather. And so y'all send her some prayers. She'll feel better. She's probably watching in the chat, so shout out to her for that. But yeah, we're here for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's going to be a great show. I already know it's going to be a great show because the episode was good. And we're here. And I see a comment from Curtis Morgan saying, excellent episode, deserves the full panel tonight. Well, baby, you got it. And we didn't even, you got it. What's going on, Chase? How are you?
I am all right. What's going on with the people? Hey to the people. They got two horsemen up here tonight. What's the tea?
Listen,
Danny,
feels like home. Feels like home.
It does. Danny?
I am great. Ready to cheer on my girl Big Sut tonight.
Okay. You know, she is backing her big. I should really have worn my shirt. I decided to wear this hoodie.
Could you send,
yes, it's on
back. Send me a shirt.
You said what?
Send me one of them damn shirts.
I really should, because you're the one that coined it.
All of us need one. We should sell them.
Probably should after this season, because she's actually in her fourth Big Sut season. Jamie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm just waiting on my Big Sut shirt, waiting on my merch you promised me in 2021.
I guess you'll be waiting like everybody else.
I need my Big Sut shirt.
Listen, don't forget, y'all can always purchase merch. It's at the website, CelineOfficial.com. All the merch is up, and it's always on. Well, not on sale, but it's always available for purchase. I'll say that.
Boy, I am tired of you.
Listen,
look, it's Wednesday Night Live. It's OG Wednesday Night Live. We gotta get the people.
For those that are going to get, that I said are going to get mugs, you're going to get a mug. I never said when, but you're going to get one
eventually.
Eventually, name them when I say
name them. Watch the show. Watch the show.
And
all right, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's gonna be a really good show. Like I said, yes, I know my hoodie is on backwards. I'm very aware, unlike Denise. I wore it like that on purpose because why not? I mean, we should all wear our stuff backwards. That seems to be the way to go these days. I don't know. All right, so let's get into the episode. Episode just went off. I wasn't here last week. I did watch the show. And we pick up immediately. This is supposed to be another dinner party from hell. This is supposed, I guess they're calling it part 3. I don't really think it was from hell compared to the others. I think it was if you compare these to the 3, Chase, how would you rate this one of the other 2?
I don't even remember the second one. However,
you don't?
Which one are they referring to? The
what?
Yeah, that was the second one.
Man, both of those pale in comparison to the first one, so I would say 1, 2, and then this third one would be 3. It wasn't a dinner party from hell; it was like the dinner party from purgatory. Because, what the fuck?
Okay, I would agree. I would completely agree on that. So we pick up, like I said from last week. Sutton and Kyle have this tension ever since she told Kyle to name them, in which she did name them. We talked about that. I mean, if she gave some good names, sure. Yes, I'm not sure. But in this particular episode, we pick up where Kyle, has a little slight meltdown and loses her shit as she accused Sutton of by saying there are times when she wants to break down and do all these things, but she has to be strong for whatever reason. In this whole moment, Sutton is kind of looking at her, have this moment. It's almost like she'll want to say, yeah, I got you. Because everything she's asking for Sutton to say, Sutton won't say. Sutton is not saying that she knows anything. She's just saying, she feels like there's something going on. What's going on with you? But Kyle says she can't afford to be depressed right now, and that's why she's working out. That's why she's not wearing her wedding ring. Of course, we know Garcelle also gave her a comment and kind of tried to help Sutton out last week by saying, what's going on with this ring? What's up with this new ring? And all the ladies are like, well, I like new rings and things like that. And they talked about cheating and stuff like that, right? So Sutton goes ahead and she apologizes for herself, but she also apologizes for Kyle because she knows that Kyle was not going to give her an apology. So she does say, I'm sorry for you too. And Kyle's like, well, thank you for apologizing for me. And I'm like, okay. And so they start this conversation about Anne Marie. She is a newbie. This was her first episode last week, and she's an official cast member. She's friends with Kyle, which you find out later. and I hate that for her. But I also know a lot of things about Amber last week. It looks like she's based off her and her husband. She nobody I would want to deal with.
Yeah.
But
I actually hate it for Kyle
because I think y'all said
right.
was it some homophobic things or
her husband
transphobic?
Her husband's
homophobic.
Sexual assault allegations.
Yeah, and we don't get down like
he
that.
He said BLM don't exist. He said white supremacy don't exist. So take your pick. Name them.
Well, you know what? He can have his views, but they are wrong.
Loud and wrong.
So
it's his square.
They start, asking her about her. Garcelle asks about her, and they ask Garcelle if she truly knew if her husband was cheating on her and things like that, and she says she had no clue. Cynthia speaks, and Cynthia talks, about that basically there's life after marriage, and Cynthia has gone through 2 divorces on the show. Well, one on the show, 2 marriages on the show, one on the show, one outside the show. And I think Cynthia in this place is pretty much saying, I don't need a man. I don't need a marriage. I want to be by myself. I think that's kind of what she was getting at here. So Dorit gets things, jumps off. She asks Denise, like, how does it feel to be back around these ladies? And I'll stop really quickly. I do want to thank our house for the super chats. I see them coming in. I'm gonna read them and let me get to this segment, and I will definitely get back to you on those. But thank you for the super chat in early advance. So Denise is just like, everything is great, but specifically, I want to talk to you, Erica. What did I do to you? And Erica is like, everybody's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, when I met you, you were so kind and so nice, and then something happened, and then Erica is like not clear on what is going on. And so in the midst of looking a mess, a hot, drunken, hot she says, I apologize, I have a bad cold. I'm like, I don't think that we're thinking you're sick, actually. You don't sound sick. You just sound very gone.
The least of what
that
we're
was
thinking.
The last thing I thought of Denise if she was sick. And so she is just like, she's upset, but she doesn't really know what to say. And she's just like, the whole thing, everything. And Erica's like, what are you talking about? She's like, you know what? Just go back and watch the show. Just go back and watch the show. Just watch it. And when you watch it, come back to this conversation. And I'm like, okay, girl, get in that time machine, go watch the show and come back. So Erica goes ahead and she apologizes. She doesn't know what she's apologizing for. And Sutton picks up a joint, a pre-roll, and she lights up the table. Everybody at the table is just like, really, Sutton, you lighting up weed and you just talking about, men and dancing with men in Vegas, but you want to light up weed at the table. That's what they said. And so they kind of feel like she's contradicting herself, but Erica's kind of living, because I think Erica wanted a piece of that blunt too. No shade.
Down.
So I'll stop there and I'll get you guys' thoughts on all the old exchange, because a lot happened, but we didn't really get anywhere because Denise really didn't say anything. So I want to ask you, while you give you guys, your analysis on the scene, what did y'all think Denise was talking about in this moment? Danny.
I have to think about when all that stuff came out with Brandy. You know how Erica was towards her when she was like not wanting to be around and getting up and leaving the table and all that stuff. The funniest part of this scene to me, though, was they had just finished yelling at Sutton, saying, just come out and say it. And then here is Sutton telling Denise, girl, just say it. Exactly what you mean. I was literally laughing at that. And just Denise turned up real quick when she told her, watch the show and we can come back and fucking do this. Like,
and
I had clutched my pearls at home.
I started to go back and watch the show myself. I was like,
okay. I felt like if I didn't, I was going to get in trouble. So, yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It definitely felt like old times, seeing her on the screen and her slurring, normal drunkenness.
Denise always shows up, but never in the way that I need her to show up. I want like Denise, the movie star and the poise, glamorous, sex pop put together, and she ain't never show up that way. She was quiet season 1. Season 2, she was elusive and didn't want to show her live. Season 3, she's slurring her words and her tracks are falling out. But God bless Denise, the gift that keeps on giving. I'm very happy to see her. We all knew what they were talking about. I think every single one of those ladies will, with the exception of Sutton, because was that Sutton's first? That was her friend of season, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So she was aware of it. I think they were all gaslighting Denise. They knew exactly what she was talking about. Denise didn't want to come out and say, when y'all went on this Brandy crusade against me or whatever. If y'all remember the recaps, I was frustrated at Denise during that season because she could have shut this whole thing down by saying, and I did. And where do we go from here? That again was orchestrated by Rinna. When people in the comments said we don't miss her, we absolutely do not. Although in this scene, I really kind of wish Rinna would have been there because I know Denise would have tore into her. Sut, I'm very, very proud of her. She didn't cry. Her voice didn't shake. She stood her ground. I actually don't think that she was being elusive or anything when she wouldn't name what she was talking about. I think she was actually being a good friend to Kyle and not flat out coming and saying, we're hearing these rumors that you and Mauricio are no longer sleeping together. He's cheating. He's this, he's that. Is there validity to that? She was trying to be a friend and be like, what's going on? Is there something going on without, specifically calling her out? And I think Kyle knew that. Which is why Kyle was getting so angry, which is why Kyle's voice was elevating, while Kyle's voice was screaming. She wanted Sutton to flat out say it so that way she could then turn around and paint Sutton as the villain and villainize Sutton. So maybe season 1 Sutton would have fell for it. I think Sutton is kind of seeing how Kyle operates, and she's not stupid anymore. She did exactly what she needed to do, and she's been sending Kyle to orbit for the last 3 episodes. Keep it up.
She can't produce if Sutton doesn't feed it to her, so that's throwing her game.
Exactly.
The all of the above. I actually think, though, the root of Denise and Erica's issues are where they start at is because before that they were all wild things, and Erica was so enamored with Denise. And Denise, she felt that Denise had vilified her about the comments she made about threesomes around the children at her party. So
that's right.
That's where it is, right? And
that's
then,
right.
What happened was Erica said, okay, we talked about it, I apologize. And then she found out Denise was talking about it with other ladies, and she was like, oh, game on now. So it's me and you. And that's why Erica was so gung-ho and hopped in with the Fox Force 5 about the whole Brandy situation, because she was grinding an axe about how she felt Denise was trying to paint her out to be a bad person about the whole threesome thing. Now, the thing about Erica is this. And I felt like that back then. We all saw how Erica tore into Eileen about even mentioning her child. So the fact that you would do all of this that she did then and now she's acting now, I can't really rock with her on it. They wanted her to say it. They knew what she was talking about. And I just don't think Denise was in the space to
State of
string
mind.
a coherent sentence together. It looked like to me, remember back when Denise was on the show and her and Aaron were like Big Pharma were chasing them?
Mm-hmm.
It was very that.
Big Pharma definitely caught up with them, and the Big Pharma is the street pharmacist.
They became friends.
Okay.
They became friends, Chase.
Absolutely.
That's her driver. They were sisters.
I also want to point out that, right, I also want to point out that this further proves that Sutton, while, she may be protecting Kyle in a sense, she's also gaslighting the fuck out of Kyle. She's also putting the screws to Kyle, and I also support her 100% wholeheartedly. Kyle beat that girl ass last season. We saw it. She's never supported her. She's always
Literally
in her business with an opposing point of view instead of being a sister to her, like she could have been to her own sisters, and she's not. So as far as I'm concerned, it's well warranted. And you know what, Sut? I'm gonna go ahead and give you the big back because now you're walking in your panties, and I appreciate it.
Chase, Kyle started with her this season too at Vegas right away.
Yep.
Absolutely.
She did. Do y'all? I know we kind of jumping ahead. Do y'all think that we're seeing how great of a relationship that Kyle has with her sister now? Is she's doing that to kind of prove what's her name wrong, or get ahead of? Because basically, I mean, the comment we're going to talk about that Sutton makes. Y'all think that scene later on was something to be like, actually, we're fine. we're not.
Well, Kyle has a history of that. She can never be friends with both sisters at the same time. Whenever she's beefing,
said that they wouldn't believe.
God damn it!
Balloons in there. What the hell?
What are y'all
balloons
doing?
on my square?
Explain to us what the hell? Like we're on these shows. There was like a thumbs up or like fireworks, and we're like, what the hell is going on?
It's the new iOS update that you can. I don't know how to turn off the portion where I'm on my laptop.
Say when you turn it on.
No, but they do it on other shows.
I don't know how to turn it on.
I feel like Jamie
I
has
feel
a
very Bigo.
different production assistant that we just don't have. So
Did that
we
bitch
got
say
Carlos
Bigo?
and we got
It was
Eric.
Bigo. It's very Bigo over here.
Oh, Bigo.
You know,
Very
there was a
Bigo.
comment that I think Jamie was going to mention that earlier that said, you know, Kyle doesn't really film with both sisters at one time. She's always fighting with one and films with the other.
Absolutely, it's damage control. But you know what? The sister that she is friends with right now, unfortunately, doesn't have access to the things that Kyle likes to do. So I guess they can go walking past liquor stores and reminiscing on the good old days or something like that. Because she's not going to be able to get in with Big Kathy, because that's the one who holds the keys to Beverly Hills.
They can go painting and stuff. She said Kim is painting and walking around on her own.
They can go pet turtles.
You would think that
not too much on the icon.
Doing stuff that's free.
Not too much on the icon.
Window shop.
They went and did a hike.
Not too much.
We said it.
Quickly, I want to acknowledge the super chats. Our house gave 3, so I'm gonna go ahead and put those up there. I know, right? Thank you for the super chats again. It says, this is what we've been waiting for, the core 4. Okay, we are here. Haven't even watched the episode yet, but I'm here for you 4. Love you all real bad. Chase, I missed you. Okay, thank you, our house. Chase is here, and the last one says, hubby looks at the bank and says, what is the lien? I don't listen. Tell him it's not porn. If you want,
we're pornography. We are pornography.
I'm gonna lean in and find out.
Yeah, tell him to lean in and find out. But we don't just, if you get the
From
get out
his
crunk and
so
stuff,
it's
let us
more
know.
views.
We got you.
We can be if you keep sending that money though. Hey.
Oh.
I didn't wear pants for nothing.
Oh, I don't have on pants right now because I mean you ain't seen my low half, so it is what it is.
Okay, sexy red.
You
Ooh.
like my voice.
That
right,
poor chair. That poor chair.
Okay, so the next scene was still at this event, and Denise decides to get up and walk away. She pulls Kyle and Sutton away, and she is still a mess. She's a hot mess, actually. And she's still kind of rambling and pointing at things. And I thought she was complimenting the house, actually. But I don't know I still know what she was pointing at. She was like, oh, look at this. And I was like, what is it? I don't really know. Whatever Denise was on, I don't want any. But for those that like those things, you may. I don't know. I'm scared. She was out, baby. But she basically doesn't understand why Erica doesn't understand what she's talking about, and she calls her. She says she's a dumb effing what? What is she? I don't
see you next Tuesday.
I assumed it was that. I assumed it was a see you next Tuesday.
Okay, so she's right.
Right, and so they're all just looking at her like, okay, so what is it? What is it? Dorit walks up and Dorit is like, Denise, is your jacket on backwards? And I ain't gonna lie. And I looked and I was like, hey, is it? So we see this flashback of like 5 seconds ago where it was like longer. And Dorit is like, is it on backwards? And then Denise asked her, is yours? And I was like, and so what took me out when Dorit was like, mine? She looked like, is mine? She was saying no. It looked like she was convinced that hers was on backwards. Nonetheless, Denise is just like, I know what you're doing right now. Stop it. As Erica's behind her, she's like, stop it. And Dorit does not stop. That's why I was like earlier a couple episodes ago, I said Dorit is in her Rena bag. I'm not gonna lie. I am seeing a baby Rena be birthed inside of her, and she is turning into Rena. She's poking and poking. And so after that, Denise decides that she wants to leave, but she was very firm in telling Dorit to stop it, and she knows what she's doing.
Stop it.
Any thoughts on this part if I move forward, Chase?
She knew that Dorit was Big Pharma. Stop it. Like, I think it's actually though, honestly, I'm probably gonna be a Debbie Downer because that scene is funny as hell. But I think it's sad that those girls rattled her so bad about that Brandy situation that she does not trust anything about the process. So it'll be like, hey Denise, how's the weather? I don't know, how is the weather? Like, what? Girl, just say, girl, damn. I feel bad, honestly, because that has to be a super uncomfortable environment to be in when people say things to you and you don't trust anything that comes from anyone, even Dorit.
I mean, I don't trust anything that comes from Dorit anyway.
I wouldn't.
If Dorit told me my jacket was on backwards, I would be like, bitch, please. It looks great. I did it on purpose.
It was made this way.
It was supposed to be.
My favorite part out of that whole back and forth that went on entirely too long was when Denise was leaving. Dorit says, "It's so good seeing you, sweetie." My God, Denise, leave that lady alone.
She was poking with
She
her.
is such a Whitney from Salt Lake City. Like, just
Stop. But my God, Denise, the pants were too long. They were scraping the floor. She couldn't articulate sentences. It reminds me, like, whenever I'm in places where I don't speak their language and I'm trying to communicate, and I'm just like, yes, like, and they're just looking at me.
And
very
you talk
confused.
louder in English, like
I'm like, yes, floor, it's good. Like Kyle didn't know what was going on. Nobody knew what was going on. I'm glad they gave Cynthia 1 or 2 lines on the show. The rest of the time, like, I kept forgetting she was there, but it's good to see my good girl Cynthia. I want to know what's going on with Denise. She redeemed herself later because she looks fantastic, but my God, she showed up in her pajamas, drunk.
You know, for me, Cortez, when you said you mentioned the baby Rinna being born, I have to say I kind of disagree. I think that's what Dorit is attempting, probably. But as much as I hate Rinna, Dorit don't have what it takes to fill those shoes.
Of course not.
And she's gonna fail miserably, and hopefully it'll be her ticket on out of here too.
Oh my God, please. Please get
And her
out of here.
and her 5 accents.
So,
but I mean,
I have a quick question. I'm sorry, Cortez.
Go ahead.
So, based off of what we saw of Rinna, I'm not Rinna. Look at you. Look at me. Based off of what we saw from Denise, is she beating the ragamuffin allegations or no?
She's never beaten the ragamuffin allegations.
I thought of that in this before she mentioned it. I thought about that and I was like, yeah, this is still.
She confirmed it.
And I got it right. I didn't say it. Dang.
It's still a ragamuffin 2.0.
Evolved.
So she goes ahead and she decides to leave. I actually was kind of sad when she was leaving because I was like, dang, it's not about to go where I wanted to go. I really wanted more. I really wanted her to lose it on somebody. Yeah. But I mean, she left, she went on home, and that was that. But again, I'm calling her Dorinna. She whispers over to Kyle and is like, well, earlier, Sutton said that you were in denial about something. And so Kyle was like, Sutton, did you say I was denial about something? And then Sutton was like, yeah, I said it at the table with everybody to hear. I'm not hiding it. And so she's like, what am I in denial about? She's like, I don't know. Like, basically, I'm going to allow you to dig your own grave. What are you in denial about? I said it, so you have something to add. Otherwise, I'm going to keep saying I don't know, aka gaslighting the hell out of her, which is what she's been doing for the last 2, 3, 4 episodes now. And I don't mind it because that's what Kyle deserves in this moment. But she just says that she will drop it. So they separate for a second, and we see Anne-Marie talking to talking to Kyle and Erica, siding with them and saying like, that's not okay. Thank you, Auntie baby. But they kind of come back together, and Kyle kind of turns it on Sutton as if she has problems. She's just like, well, I don't know, I didn't know if you were just drinking a lot. I don't know if your ankles were swollen or if you can't eat your food, slide your food around the table, saying all these things that it seems like she knows about Sutton, and Sutton has told her whatever it was. And so Sutton is just like, I have a condition, and now you're making fun of my condition. Like, really? Is that what we're doing? Like, this is about you, but now you want it to be about me. Deflecting. And so she's just like, I'm tired of arguing with you. I mean, you've already lost 2 sisters. You want to lose a 3rd one? And everyone's like, oh. And I said,
Bravo.
I was like, oh, Sutton.
There it is.
And so when she says that, there is a reveal about things that happened between Sutton, Kathy, and Kyle. And what happened was Kathy, I guess, has reached out to Sutton and said she didn't like that she didn't defend her in some moments in the press. And apparently when Sutton found this out, she went to Kyle and told her, I now see what you're saying. And Kyle was like, well, why didn't you say it at the reunion when she was doing it to me in your face? Erica gives this spiel about Kathy having all this power and being, I guess, this kind of what they alluded to her to being last season, this monster. We've heard things before, right? I do like Kathy. We've heard things of how she rules the staff and She didn't even know one of her staff's name or something like that. I believe was it
The
recently?
lady.
The lady.
The lady.
I'm sorry.
And basically insinuating that Sutton aligns herself with Kathy because she wants that status. She wants to be in the limelight and be a part of all these social circles. So I'll stop here and I'll go to you, Jamie. How did you feel? The back and forth obviously with Sutton kind of sonning Kyle in her own house. I thought she was gonna right around. I really did.
I would have.
But
I would have.
I
I still would have
put
been
out
on
too.
Sutton's side. I still would have been on Sutton's side and would have been on Kyle's. The thing is, was it a low blow? Absolutely. But when Kyle wants to start deflecting, she can't say anything about Sutton's character. We say this all the time. Health reads and stuff that people got going on, ailments, that's not a way to get somebody. That's not a way to gag somebody. That's not a way to drag somebody. That's lazy because all you're doing is stating facts. So I was actually very, very proud of Sutton because I could have, based on past history, I just knew Sutton was going to lose it. I knew Sutton was going to start crying and she was going to lose the battle. She kept a stone cold face and turned right around and dragged that lady with one of the dirtiest reads, the lowest reads. And was it a little out of pocket? Absolutely. But girl, if you're saying my health issues and stuff that I'm genuinely like struggling with are a way for me to get attention, or you're sharing it with people out here, like, okay, let's talk. Let's go there. So it's warranted. And it shut Kyle up. And again, in this scene, multiple times, Kyle was the one that lost her shit, as she so eloquently tried to accuse Sutton of doing the last 2 episodes. So good job, Sutton. Shut up. I'm fighting a cold, but I really am. So.
Are you the one that's under the weather? Aren't you?
He might be
I hate you,
but the
Daddy.
bitch definitely under attack. Okay.
Oh my.
Go ahead, Chase.
Listen. I thought that, and you said something earlier, Jamie, about Sutton protecting Kyle. Whether I don't necessarily feel like she was protecting Kyle. I think that she was, doing a dance with her. But if you look at it from the lens that she was protecting Kyle by not necessarily airing her business out, as opposed to hinting around it and poking around it, Kyle did not afford her the same luxury, which is why I am in support every time. What's her name? Sutton has the opportunity to go ahead and squeeze her and wring her neck out with them little long legs of hers. Do it. You know what I mean? Like, drag her, because like, what kind of read is that? Like, well, are you sure it's not the medicine for people who sit on the toilet for too long and their feet go numb? Like, bitch, shut up. Like, I don't like Kyle, and I read her for fifth last week. I'm gonna be nice about it this week, but you're lame, Kyle, and it is not Queen Bee behavior. If you're gonna read her for filth and put her box square ass out your house and show her who the motherfucking queen. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Show her who the queen is. Danny, please take the part, because that kind of me worked up, baby.
So, in the beginning, when Kyle and Sutton were going back and forth about being in denial, it reminded me of this episode of The Golden Girls where Dorothy and Rose were going at it, and Dorothy was saying, why would I deny being in denial when you said I was in denial, and don't you deny it? Like, they were going back and forth, and that it just seemed like so childish going back and forth. And I was actually glad that Sutton said what she said about Kathy, and it wasn't a low blow to me. Kyle has called this woman drunk, basically says she has an eating disorder, has talked about her tiny esophagus, has talked about the nerves in her legs. I mean, so Sutton gave as good as she got, and Sutton was very forceful, and I'm going to use the word very direct and aggressive there, and I loved it because she was ready for anybody else to jump in. She was sitting already. She wanted. She was going to tell Dorit about PK's teeth. She was going to get them all. She was going to tell Dorit about that jewelry she's wearing that was in her insurance claim. She was going to get her, allegedly.
I
think
fan fiction.
The Sutton is definitely sitting on ready with all of them. And what I agree. Like, nobody jumped in, nobody said anything. I just personally, if I was Kyle, I would have kicked out of my house. I'm not a Kyle fan, but I thought she was going to say, "You can leave," like my girl Peter did.
Goodbye, Kyle.
Right, right, that too.
I've been kicked out of better places than this.
Exactly. It was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember, so it'll come back to me later. It'll come back.
Did anybody else?
Go ahead.
I was going to say really quickly. Did anybody else get the vibe from Cynthia? Like she was looking like, man, these fellas ain't arguing about nothing.
She was high. Cynthia was these hoes blowing my high. That's all she was.
Has anybody here ever been to a brunch dinner of like with cannabis, like without? Yeah, okay. I have avoided one. I'm scared. You know, I will do me an edible here and there, but in LA, they're very popular. And I'm not shocked, but they are like literally like, I mean, weed is obviously like legal here in many other places, DC, I think Chicago, you know, but
I went to a dinner with Sammy
on the TV, just on and talking about it and everything. Like, I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Well, the thing is, the food be tasting like weed, and that's why
this one did, and the cocktail.
No, it's good. See, I don't like that.
If they're really good at it, they cook it so well that you would never taste.
And it's not a huge amount, like where you know how when you taste the edible, if it's the kind you get from the store, you don't really taste it.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, keep that narrative. So you say.
Put my business out down to the screen. I don't know what you're talking about.
Watch the show.
Right. I don't even do
watch the show.
As I spoke right
Royal takes back. So you say.
All right. So then after that, we do get the next day. You know, everyone decides to leave. You know, Cynthia's like, "Ooh, child, like this is a lot." And
I love that Cynthia.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Cynthia is Kyle's friend, but Cynthia stuck with Sutton. Was like, "All right, girl, you did your big one. Let's get it.
Let's go."
No, did y'all catch her at the end? And when I think it looked like Sutton wanted to say more outside, and Cynthia was like, go.
She's like, get in this car.
Like, get in this car.
Come out the door.
That would have been everything. So the next scene we do see, you know, as everyone leaves, you know, of course, Erica consoles Kyle and things like that. Everyone leaves, and the next day we get a scene with Anne Marie and Kyle, and this is also going on at the same time with the scene of Crystal, Sutton, Garcelle, and Denise. So, you know, Anne Marie, thus far, we don't really know her, but I will say, based off what we have, what do y'all feel about her?
I wish I hadn't known what was going on outside the show, because she seems like she is not one to hold her tongue. She was getting involved in the mess. She was getting involved in, had I not known all the other stuff outside the show about her, I probably would be like, okay, like she did more in the 5 minutes of screen time than Cherie did in her entire 8 episode appearances. So but I can't separate the art from the person.
You know me, I would have instantly disliked her just because she's on Kyle's side. I'm sorry. She would have.
Well, at least
we're never beating the biased allegations.
I'm not.
We are never beating the biased allegations.
I'm not trying to.
You know what really made my mind about her? They have a whole slate of BravoCon programming on Peacock, and I watched the Beverly Hills panel. And the great YouTube legend Alexander Rogers, if you guys know who he is, he asked a question, and the question was to Kyle, why do you insist on dragging Teddy everywhere when nobody likes her? And so Kyle was like, well, she's my friend and I like Teddy, da da da. And so Sutton was like, well, I don't like Teddy. And then Garcelle says, I don't like Teddy either. And then, you know, that's, you know, sister style. We had the debate last season, right? So Garcelle says, I don't like Teddy. And immediately after that, Anne Marie goes in and says, well, I love Teddy. She's a wonderful person. Oh, I don't like people who deliberately go in and try to debunk everything that you got going on. I don't like stuff like that. And I kind of recognized what she was, and they said she was from Canada, and I said, oh, so Daniel Caesar got it. So
oh my God, Chase.
We love our Canadian viewers, by the way.
Hello, we love our Canadians.
Drop your flag in the comments so we know not to talk about your state or your country.
Not the United Nations.
I love Canada, but there are Daniel Caesars out there, and you guys know what I'm speaking to, a very specific portion of people from Canada, not all Canadians, but there are, Daniel Caesars. And if you know what I'm talking about, go search Daniel Caesar Soul Jewel's interview, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And then her doing that, coupled with who she's married to and their views, it's a chop for me. And I'm gonna need a pretty strong knife because that bitch is strong.
Yep.
Right. But in their conversation, they kind of, she wants to be caught up on everything because she was at this dinner. I mean, assuming she doesn't know everything that happened, I'm sure she knows a little bit. I'm going to say.
I mean, if they're friends,
right? If they're friends, I'm sure she's already knows everything. But the one thing they talk about is the comment that was made about her sister, which is, you want to lose another sister. You've already lost two. That Sutton made. And they talk about her small esophagus, and she's just like, that doesn't sound right. I work in anesthesiology, and I that doesn't sound right. So when I see her, I'm going to ask her about it. I'm like, okay, and you are clearly, as Chase just said, I like when people come in and kind of have their own little brain, and right now she don't have one. She's using Kyle's, which is not very big of a brain. And so in the other conversation, we see Crystal, Sutton, and Garcelle go to one of my favorite restaurants, actually. They went to a place called The Six. I was like, oh my God, I used to live right there. But Denise shows up. And Denise actually looks good. Like, she looks refreshed. She looks like she could actually be back on the show for a split second. And she sits down and they pretty much talk about, Kyle throwing Sutton under the bus about all the esophagus, her. Is it an ankle thing or is it a foot thing? What is it? I don't understand.
What did she got? Mesothelioma? What was it?
Mesothelioma. Is that what you said?
Baby, that sounds like
Harry Potter.
It's Spirio Patronum.
That's okay. That's what I got. Harry Potter spell. But I will say, if you watch us for a long time, we always make little jokes about Sutton's little legs. That's not going to stop because I didn't even know she had that. But she does have little crab legs.
The condition don't contribute to the shape. It don't contribute to the shape of her legs. It's her nerve.
Yes, exactly. This is what she has is nerve related, and
it's just nerve. It ain't got nothing to do with her legs. Chase, you're fine. Yeah. It's nerve, not muscular.
Yes.
You're gonna have to retract.
Sutton don't really have calves. It just goes from thigh to ankle. That's really it.
My hive.
And the shin bones connect to the
thigh bone.
So basically, she's legs go all the way up Griffin.
She's legs and knees and toes.
She's legs and body.
Stop.
But in this moment, they use the time to pretty much figure out what the actual issue is, and Denise actually says it. She says she doesn't understand how they didn't know, but she mentioned specifically, as Chase said, the issue of all the sex talk around her kids a couple of seasons ago when she was on the show, and how Erica was so vocal about it and everything like that. That's what she was speaking about. And she says because she didn't know and act like she didn't know, she is a mean ass B. And so I will stop there and get you guys' thoughts on either of these conversations between Anne-Marie and Kyle, and the conversation between Crystal, Sutton, Garcelle, and what's her name, and Denise. And I will say, Crystal, I don't know, Crystal be trying to get ahead of things. She did tell, Sutton as her friend. I'm like, I don't know when y'all really became friends, because you would never think they are really friends. I mean, they're cordial, is what I see. But she says that basically the comment about, the sisters was wrong. And I guess this is her way of saying, like, she can never, like, nobody could ever say she was on both sides. She did tell her she was wrong, kind of covering for herself. So, Danny, what were your thoughts on those scenes?
I don't have nothing for the first scene. And I don't want to talk about Anne-Marie Stranger or Kyle Richards. But the scene with Denise, I just found it funny how as soon as they sat down, Garcelle tried to talk about her leg, Sutton's leg condition. They haven't even ordered water yet. and Garcelle started on her, and Denise was like, girl, that's wrong. And I was proud that when she said it, there was no slurring. I was so proud. Other than that, it was just nice seeing them. Both of these scenes were kind of filler to me.
Okay.
Chase?
Yeah, it don't matter.
I don't have nothing to say for, as Danny so eloquently put, that American Gladiator Stranger. I don't have nothing for her. And as far as the second scene is concerned, it felt like a group of friends and Crystal. So it was nice to see on Beverly Hills.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm just counting down the episodes. I wanted Crystal go on this year. I don't really know why she's here, but I guess she got 3 years on that contract. Please let this be the last season for Crystal. I did want to just quickly clarify, and I'm going to be quick about it. Quickly clarify, when I mentioned the whole thing about Canadians, because I did see a couple of comments about Canadians, what I'm trying to say is that Daniel Caesar made a comment, and Daniel Caesar's comment was in defense of someone named Soul Jules, and basically he said that Black Americans, I want to put that out too. He basically said that Black Americans could learn from white Americans, is what he said. And if nobody agreed with him, they could cancel him, and everybody canceled him. And I feel like there is a disconnect between certain different countries and cultures about the plight of every ethnicity and race and what they go through and gender and all that stuff. So certain things that you're not able to understand because you're not actually in those shoes. And he had an opinion about it, and the way that she undercut Garcelle, it just reminded me of that, and it turned me off on her. So I just wanted to go ahead and say and spell out why I don't like Anne Marie. And it's nothing against Canada; it's directly against people like Anne Marie and Daniel Caesar. Go ahead, Dennis.
I
And
don't
that's
like
my square.
Canadians. No, I'm
They're
joking.
different, but that's my square.
We needed the balloons then.
So I will comment on the first scene because I'm not biased. I
Oh,
enjoy all
bitch. Oh,
sides.
He's
No,
French,
but
right?
the only the only thing that I will say is I respect Anne Marie being an anesthesiologist, but baby, you don't know where to put the tube until the doctor tells you what's going on with that patient's esophagus. Like you aren't doing the pre-work, you aren't doing the pre-check, like other doctors and nurses and stuff. So for her to kind of diagnose, well, that doesn't make no sense. Is it out her, sphincter? Is it this? It's like, girl, let's stop pretending like you're doing the pre-work anyway. Like when it comes time to stick an IV in somebody and know how to keep them alive, we'll come ask you. But it seems that Kyle probably gave her some pointers on what she needs to do before she comes in on the show, and she's sticking to that script. The lunch. Crystal has been friends with Sutton and Garcelle for a number of years. They're always hanging out outside the show. But it does give a little bit like it's Sutton and Garcelle, and then like, okay, Crystal. I'm hoping Crystal sticks up for them a little bit more. It seems like she's wanting to get on the right team. But Crystal is an
right.
enigma to me. It's an enigma to me. Like she's loud in certain instances, quiet in other instances, and I just don't understand her as a housewife. I loved that Garcelle made a point to laugh at Kyle's hypocrisy about insinuating Sutton was an alcoholic by running down the long list of times Kyle has gotten drunk and acted a fool. As a comment stated, she made fun of Kyle for sweeping the floor with her coochie cat. Like, I love that. I'm enjoying this scene. Denise looks great. When Denise is lucid, Denise is great. I need more Denise. I need more lucidity. I just wish Camille had been there. Because Camille was surprisingly quiet during that dinner, and I would have sworn Camille would have taken that time to drag somebody, but it didn't. But yeah, I agree with Danny. These last two scenes were kind of anticlimactic in terms of the rest of the episode, but it was still fun. It was still a good episode. I like that they ended it on a little bit of lighthearted, girls' dinner to kind of cleanse my palate of Kyle and the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm weak. Any other final thoughts on this part? Because I will say, the episode did kind of go like down. I mean, it was still a good episode after the dinner, but the scene kind of got like, okay, I wanted more. And I really do wish Camille would have been more activated. But I think Camille was probably trying to really avoid Faye as she was trying to avoid her. I thought we would have got something there, to be honest. That's what I was kind of hoping.
I also think that Camille may have been on her P's and Q's for once because, her and Kyle were not speaking for a number of years, and that was kind of her first
Mm-hmm.
time back into the group. And she
Yeah.
knows that Kyle is kind of her entry point into the group as far as being friends with the ladies. So if she pisses off Kyle, she's out again. So unfortunately, but Camille is one of those people who should always be around, whether as a
Always.
friend, whether as a diamond holder. She always gives, and I don't see why they play around with her like they do.
Yeah.
She's best when she's dragging Kyle. I don't like her friends with Kyle.
I hate it.
Denise is a formidable opponent to Kyle, and that's why Kyle can't stand her.
You think so? I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've never really understood the Denise lore. Like she's never really given to me. She's never really ate to me. She's never really showed up to me. I think that she tried to get big and bad with Camille during season 9 at the tail end of things, but that was only because she had a whole group or a whole cast behind her. And when those ladies turned on her like they did the next season, she unraveled, and she has not been able to put herself back together since. Again, this is the first time I've ever seen her look like Summer anything in all of the seasons that she's participated. So I've never really just been like, yay, Denise, I want more of Denise. I was on her side for sure season 10, but I just never really felt like she gave anything other than the name value, to be honest. for me.
I want Charlie Sheen era Denise on the show. That would have been my favorite era of Denise Richards. I think this man, I don't know what's going on with her now, but Charlie Sheen era Denise, when she had her own reality show, she was entertaining. That Denise would have been great on this show. She has bright spots, but yeah, I agree with what Chase said.
Okay. If it gets, is my background is clear, right? Because clearly I live next to Grand Theft Auto nightclub. I don't know what's going on next door. It is bumping over there, so I'm trying to make sure.
We know where you're going later.
No, I'm
okay.
Nowhere. Next door to say, excuse me.
It's only 5 o'clock there. What time is it there?
It's 6:52. Yeah, but
okay, that's fine then.
It's later to go to bed.
Oh, right, exactly. Okay, so then I'll go ahead and clump the last 3 scenes together. We can talk about them. So we get a scene with Dorit and PK. Nothing really there. They were talking about, Kyle. Dorit wants to talk about, specifically Kyle and Mo. And PK is still supporting Mo. He says that he's busy, he's working, but you should continue to support her and whatever she's telling you is going on, or not telling you in this case. And so they kind of go down this rabbit hole, but what they kind of come to the end of the scene with Dorit saying, kids are a priority. And what I got from it was that if you have issues, PK, I'm leaving your ass because my kids come first. That's what I got from the scene. We saw a scene with Erica and one of her friends, her Vegas friend or the shows, whatever she does. She talks about the residency. We know that she did have a residency at some point throughout the last year, right? Was it last year?
Yeah.
Okay, so she had that.
Well, this year.
Okay, this year. So yeah. I guess we're going to be seeing more about that. That's probably why they went to Vegas and everything to kind of introduce that whole thing. And then the last scene, which we kind of talked about earlier, was with Kyle and Dorit, and they meet up and they are doing a hike. And look who comes out is Kim Richards, because if it was Kathy, they probably would be at a fabulous dinner. But it's Kim, and I like Kim. But Kim is not going to open the doors to those types of events. So they start out about, making jokes about, her ring missing, because, that was the whole talk about at the dinner party. And Kim, as she shows up, she's like happy. She looks fine. She looks sober. She looks good, considering, what she's been through in her life with her sister, Kyle. And basically, Kyle wants to highlight that it was okay. She's good. She's walking fine. She's painting. She's doing everything right. And she just talks about how, her daughters and the kids, she never wants any of that to affect them, regardless of any issues that she's going to continue to have with her sisters, because she's not a good sister to them. She wants to make sure the kids are never involved. So across those 3 scenes, that was the end of our recap. What are y'all thoughts on either of those scenes, anything in the episode? And then I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat for any callers as well. Chase.
I was praying you didn't call on me first, because that was a lot to remember. My memory is horrible. I was like, please don't call me.
It was a lot. It was so small.
I always love seeing Kim. And that's what I have for Kim. Like, I love Kim. Where's Kim? She's an icon. And again, as we afford the doors to always be open onto Camille, we should always leave them open for whenever Kim wants to appear, and it's healthy for her to do so. The other scene, as far as Dorit is concerned, Dorit, stop projecting. Stop projecting, because what you're doing is you're projecting that fear onto those children. Okay? So,
fear.
Her fear. Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy, when they took her cell phone and dialed 911 for her on her behalf, or whatever they did, and didn't take no jury, or whatever they did. I mean, but I do understand if that is something that actually happened, and their children are in the home. I understand everything that she says, so I'm not going to negate that. But you have to start moving forward towards recovery, and that means, all aspects of your life. Allowing your children to go a little bit, because they need to go so they can grow. And I thought that the digs at TK, what is the PK? I think about them damn teeth. I'm sorry. Toothless, not homeless.
My God.
PK, I thought while they were funny and they were, succinct or whatever you want to call them, I thought that they were a little low, because you're not here, you don't know. But what he's telling you is what he does know. And from what he knows is it is important for people to interact so that your children will have people skills, unlike you seem to not have. She must have, was she homeschooled in Connecticut? Because, I mean, really, she is devoid of all people skills. In my opinion, I think that she was projected, and I actually side with PK on that. I think that you should at least put the kids in the environment and then see how they adapt. And if they don't adapt, then you take them back out and you homeschool them. But I don't think that you don't at least give them a little bit of everything to see where they flourish, because you never know. Those children may flourish in that environment, but because of your fear, you're crippling them.
Mm-hmm.
Agree. I think PK is so tired. He is so tired of Dorit. He is exhausted. He wants her to let those kids go to school, wants her to get a hobby, wants her to get back to work, wants her to do something. I think the kids will be fine. Any instances or scenes where we've seen with the kids, those kids are full of life. They are funny. They're inquisitive. They're giving little shade to Dorit. Those kids are going to integrate into whatever school they put them in very, very fine. I think Dorit just wants to have a cuddle buddy at home. For whatever reason, she could work that out with her therapist. I enjoy seeing Kim. I don't think returning in any capacity to this show, other than an appearance here and there, is healthy for her. Strictly because of Kyle. I think Kyle will, the minute that it's convenient for her, will turn on her sister again. Will use her sister as a storyline. We've seen it done in the past, and I want better for Kim, but I love seeing her here. But yeah, that was it. Dorit is messy. She couldn't wait to tell Kyle Dorit is messy.
Well, first, hey Tasha, see, me and Chase saw you saying hi. We were saying hi back to you. I agree with you, Chase, that give the kids a chance in school first and see how they do. And then, if anything, pull them out, because I don't agree with her plan, because there's nothing wrong with homeschooling. But I don't agree with her plan of letting them homeschool for 1 more year and then put them in school. I think you should go into school as young as possible before these kids start developing their friend groups and all this stuff, and then when you do finally go, it's harder to make friends at a new school when you get older. So I think, that just makes sense. Dorit says he don't help with the kids. Well, girl, this is a chance for you to have a break for 6 hours. Let them go to school. As far as Kim, I agree with you. Unfortunately, Jamie, I like seeing Kim. I love seeing her, but I fear for her sobriety if she came back on the show full time, because these hoes will make you drink. And God forbid her and Denise get cast together. They just. But
it's gonna be Whitney Houston and Mary J. Blige.
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second, glasses. Don't bring up my Whitney. We talk about Mary all day. But yeah, that's really all I had. The Erica thing, girl, just put a GoFundMe up so you can pay people to come. That's the only way you get.
They were like they was like
$7.
It was $7 holla. Nobody bought them.
That's
bottom.
I guess it must not be that expensive to be here.
It's not expensive to be here. It's affordable to be me.
It's reasonably affordable to be me.
And also, like Samari said in the comments too about Dorit. Girl, you got nannies to help you. So what do you need PK to do?
And they're black, so they're gonna care for them children like people.
Dorit, she already expressed she got black help. So if they have the help of black people, they good. Cause we
also I love how she says that she opted for homeschooling as if she's the one homeschooling. She's like, no, we set up and then we have their teachers come to them. I'm like, girl, that's just regular school. Like, you just don't want them to be out there with other people. This is regular school.
Somebody need to tell Dorit, I don't think anyone's going to be robbing you or allegedly robbing you or your kids and family again.
Ain't nobody going to kidnap that annoying boy.
In the clear. There is no more insurance policy left that they can claim.
Well, Cortez, unless they see her audibly go to the bank and withdraw $30,000 and stick them in her purse and go to Target.
And I can tell you this:
I want the Christmas gifts.
If somebody snatch up her son, they're gonna drive them back home themselves and turn themselves in. That little boy.
Please come get him.
All right, listen, we have 2 callers in the queue. I'm gonna go ahead and let them on in a second. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as I always say. All of our other shows: Atomic on Mondays, Bell Collective on Mondays. On Tuesdays we have Married to Medicine, Salt Lake City, today Beverly Hills, and tomorrow on Thursdays are Real Housewives of Miami. And so make sure y'all check it out. We're always here. Of course, you'll see at minimum 3 of us a time, but on the bigger episodes, we tend to come together as a full panel on all the panels and give you what you want, which is a great show. So our first caller for today is going to be Kyra. Hey Kyra, how are you?
Hey, now this feels like a reunion.
It does, it does. How are you?
Hello, my people. I'm good. I needed this because, oh, baby, we got an argument. So we gonna gossip about these girls.
Okay.
I guess it's lightweight stuff. Dorit, it is true you need to socialize kids. There is, I don't know if they're doing this. There is, I know of a friend who did homeschooling, but what the parents did, they had like group homeschooling where they would have the kids field trips together, and sometimes they would have classes together to socialize with one another. So there's somewhat of a middle ground. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Kyra, I can hear you, but it's a little hard to understand you. Maybe if you come a little closer to the mic, just so it can, if it's just me, let me know. But it's a little difficult with it. Go ahead.
How about now?
Oh, much better.
Oh, that's better.
It's better.
Can you hear me better now?
Much better.
Okay. Yes. My headphone was acting up. Okay. So I guess the main thing was this dinner. Again, as I always say, Kyle's a nasty heifer. Y'all caught that little slick shade that she said, "Oh, which household are you talking about?" Didn't you just tell Sutton that she's out of reach and out of touch? Not Miss snatching Hermes bags every time someone has a new one. Not Miss snatching up jewels every time someone has a new jewel on. Talking about, are you out of touch? And now because she's asking you what's with your household, which one? What I always say, Kyle's a nasty. I think this was to me. I think this was better than the last dinner from hell because I feel like people were a little more involved. I feel like the one with Erica was the main one going off. Where this one we had the whole back and forth between Kyle and Sutton, and then people interjecting a little bit more. So obviously the first dinner from hell, then this one, and then the third one. I don't really even compute in this way because I think this, like, even the after dinner was juicy. You already lost 2 sisters. What about the third? That was nasty. And Kyle deserved it. She deserved every bit of it. Because I also just find it interesting. We have the alcohol thing going on. Now we have I don't know if it's your pills. Now all of a sudden an eating disorder when literally Sutton was getting chewed out last season because she ate bacon. And now we have the whole, oh, well, you're scared of Kathy. Not Miss, you were crying and shaking at the reunion because you really want Kathy and the Rothschilds to show up at Farrah's wedding that never happened. Not Miss Social Climber when you and your whole family was not invited to Nikki's wedding and you got a last minute invite and the only person who could come was Farrah because she's not Mauricio's child and you went.
Oh,
Jesus.
No, you didn't.
But Kyra, I agree with you about the dinner thing because I rank this one as number 2 because Kyle was getting her ass handed to her the whole time. So that made
okay.
I'm just like, Erica's like, oh, I don't care about that. Erica. First of all, Sutton's going to the Met Gala while you were working in Tom's restaurant trying to get up on him. Also, your husband had the governor in his pocket. You were having dinners with sheriffs and DAs. Please don't come to me acting like y'all don't care about connections. Ma'am, you would not even be this little reality star gay icon if it wasn't for your husband's money doing that PR stunt to know that the only way you could be a little pop star is if you focused on white gays. And turned down, like, this whole thing of, like, we don't care about all that kind of stuff when you literally do. Erica's whole personality was the fact that she was married to a wealthy, powerful man. Kyle's whole personality was that she was the only one screaming, going around about how Paris looks just like me. Yes, Paris and Nikki are my nieces. Literally was on True Life about Nikki and Paris. And Nikki and Paris and Kathy were not on there. She was the only person from the family on there. And we are talking about social climbing when you've been using your family's name for years.
Kim bought her first car.
I'm just like, you've been using your family name for years. And it's just, I do think there is something to Kyle. Like, I think they're all, like, have their issues. I think they're all terrible. But it is interesting that Kyle's always the one who's falling out with her sisters. Kim and Kathy seem to always be fine or always be able to make their way to each other. Kyle's always going to fall out. And to me, it's because Kyle does have little sister syndrome. Because before, Sutton, don't compare yourself to Kathy. Now all of a sudden, oh, you're kissing, you're behind, you should have been there for me. Dorit tried to be there for you, and you chewed Dorit's behind out. Told her to shut up. it is wild to me that she is on this show. And I do think, I forgot who said it, either Jamie or Chase, of like, I do think that Kyle wants Sutton to say it. That way Sutton can look the bad guy. And for me personally, I think Sutton is being smart by saying, I just think something is going on. I don't know what it is, but I'm asking you to tell me. So that way I'm not making things up. Because then when you do say, I think something's going on with your marriage, she's screaming and again, twitching and running around and screaming, you're not drinking anymore. So what's the reason why you screaming and hollering still? If you're not drinking
no
anymore.
more.
Yeah, if she's not drinking anymore, why are we still acting like that?
That's why.
Because,
She missed it.
yeah, the alcohol was never the issue. I think Kylie needs to sit on someone's couch and needs to figure out why she's still miserable and how she's also a social climber because now that she is getting this divorce from Mauricio, now all of a sudden her and Kathy are fine. Those are my thoughts. I know we have another caller, but yeah, now all of a sudden her and Kathy are fine because Mauricio was always an issue in that relationship.
I think Kyle's the issue, not Mauricio.
I mean, yes, but you know,
Kyle's the issue.
All right,
she's fine.
we actually have 2 more callers in the
Yeah,
queue.
Oh, we got another one.
Yeah,
I'm booked.
I'll be listening.
But thank you, Kyra. Okay.
Bye, Kyra.
All right, I'm gonna let
Bye, girl.
I know you were next, Demesia, but I'm gonna let our house on because our house was dropping their money. I'm not saying that's why. when I see green, I gotta, at least give my.
You gotta wait, bro.
Hey, our house, how are you?
Brokey face.
Hello? You there?
Hello. Yeah. I'm
Hey.
here. Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Hey.
I'm good. I'm always fangirling every single time I'm on here because I'm not even kidding. I'm obsessed with you guys. And my husband keeps telling me, like, why do these guys keep screaming into the phone while he's trying to sleep? But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so I didn't watch the episode today, but I listened to what you guys had to say. I've watched clips and I watched the last episode. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. All I want to say is Kyle got everything she deserved and then some. And I want her to get more, actually, because of the things that she's done in the last however many years this show has been filming. Not only has she sacrificed her relationship with her sisters, but also the women on the show. And I just think that
Absolutely.
At this point, Kyle, if you've had 2 failed marriages, you're falling out with your siblings every other day. You don't get along with the women on the cast. Maybe you're the problem. Maybe you need to do some self-reflecting. Maybe we need to reevaluate some things. Okay? Because
do you know what
why
you just
is it
did?
always you?
I'm sorry.
Why is it always you? Why is it always Kyle? Kyle is always in some mess. All of the sisters are getting along besides you. And I've always, what it is, I used to like Kyle until, and you know what, I gave her passes, but the video of her and LVP going back and forth after LVP told her that she was having a hard time because of her brother's death to the S word, and she also lost her mother back to back all at the same time. And then Kyle had the nerve to say, yeah, I have my own stuff going on too. I've been on my yacht for 3 weeks with my family on vacation, so I can't be as present with you. You want to talk about out of touch? That's out of touch. When your best friend, someone you claim is your best friend on this show, tells you that she needed you because her brother unalived himself and she's struggling, and you want to bring up Lucy Apple Juicy, and you're going through stuff. So I can't even take Kyle when she talks about people being out of touch. What about Taylor when you threw it in her face that her husband was abusive towards her? What about Kim? You stole Kim's house and then you outed her as an alcoholic.
I'm sorry.
Can I just say that you have done exactly what Sutton has been asking? You named them.
You know.
Named her.
And it's crazy
Wow.
that you mentioned that she with the Lisa Vanderpump, because she's doing the exact same thing with Sutton. Like when Sutton was, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how, when someone does, tell you what they're going through, I'm sure there's always the back of your mind, like, yes, it's true, we're all going through something, but you should never try to turn it around or make it about you. Empathize with them, and and go from there. And you can find
100%.
time. You can find time to
100%.
share your whatever you're going through, but in this moment, you weren't the one to initiate it. So let's let them speak. She needs to.
Last season, she dragged Sutton for Sutton talking about Dorit's robbery, saying, "Sorry, I don't have a gun to my face, but I was also dealing with some other stressful issues."
Exactly.
She dragged Sutton for an entire season. Granted, Sutton deserved that a little bit, but
and you know what? That was light work compared to what LVP did. That was light.
Work. Like LVP legitimately lost 2 family members, and Kyle's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've been vacationing." And I'm like, this lady is such a hypocrite. Right.
I want to add one really quickly. Remember last season when Sutton said, well, I too have had miscarriages. She was like, wow, I never knew that you were pregnant. Wow, I never knew that you had babies.
Yeah.
Wow, I never knew that you had miscarriages. That's new. I've never heard that before. And completely invalidated what she was saying by saying she didn't believe it. She wasn't told. What a bitch.
See, y'all better eat. No, what Kyle fails to realize is we've been watching this woman on television tell about herself and show her ass. I'm sorry, excuse me. I shouldn't have said. Okay, excuse my language.
No, you should.
And I don't even swear. And Kyle got me out here swearing. I'm a good girl.
Oh no! Now she got
Lord. Compromising Christianity.
Yes.
But I thought it was us.
Exactly. No, but and I know that you guys have another caller, but let me just finish up on Kyle, because what Kyle did to Denise that last season that she was on, what Kyle did to LVP and she has a roster, okay? I will never forget what Kyle did to Denise and LVP, most of all because they're the most recent that I can think of, right? Outing Denise on national television the way that she did. And I just can't understand, if you claim that this person is your friend, why would you do that? Even if you had an inkling in your mind that was going on, why would you question her that on live television? And then to say, I don't know Brandy to be one to lie, when Brandy has shown herself lying. Brandy is not a reputable source. Racist Brandy?
Ooh. Get out. Drop.
Name.
You're gonna get chased up.
No, I do. We do have another caller.
I'm so sorry. Chase.
No, you're
so
no. Listen, that is your square,
reputable.
and you can say almost anything.
No,
you want.
what I'm saying is she's gonna get, because I'm gonna take off on Brandy.
All right. I want to get the last call on, okay? But we're appreciative for calling in.
Talk about black people can't swim.
Love you guys. Bye.
Thank you. And
Bye.
Love you, our house.
Thank you, our house. And tell hubby that we're just for being up here. We are not some scam site taking your money, okay? All right, our last caller is going to be, and thank you for the patience, Demisio. Hey, Demisio, what you got for us?
Hey, Demisio.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Danny, you hush. Hey. Me, you done already talked about this, so you be quiet.
Oh.
So y'all know I am the ultimate Denise Richards fan now. So I came on here to defend, honey.
Okay.
Them HOEs, specifically Erica, they knew what Denise was talking about. Denise, even though she didn't give direct specifics, she gave enough detail to where they knew what she was talking about. Now all of a sudden they have pretend amnesia. Now that Renna is gone, that they don't know what happened 2 years ago on why they ran Denise off the show. Like she don't have to name specific direct details to know that you all were a-holes to her the last time she was there. I mean, Dorit knew what she was doing when she answered the question, when she asked Denise the question. So how does it feel being back in the group, knowing that Denise left off on horrible terms with dang near everybody except Dorit, Garcelle, and Sutton? Like, it does not take a rocket science to get what she was trying to say. But Denise was off. I don't know what she was on specifically. It's none of my business.
She was on some lean. No, allegedly.
Oh, you know.
She was on something, honey.
Watch the episode,
Yeah.
That does not
Watch the show.
excuse the fact that they treated her like crap, and they know that they treated her like crap. And to be honest with you, I'm not understanding why Kyle didn't get some of that, considering she was the ring leader in the whole Denise takedown. So I would have kind of like to have saw that a little bit, her getting to Kyle, but maybe she seen that baby Kyle was already getting enough. So
No, never too much.
to add on to
You're
her body
supposed to
would
pick
have
her
been
while she down.
thank you. She didn't want to kick her while she was down, child. So that's maybe why she just, gave it to Erica. Now, again, as I've said before, and I'll say it again and continue to say it, this episode and seeing the continuation of Sutton versus Kyle is exactly why I'm Team Sutton. You talked about the ladies in the Rockety. You called her an alcoholic, along with having Teddy insinuated too by saying she carries around vodka in her purse on BravoCon. Like, you're deflecting to Kathy, yet again throwing your own sister under the bus again on national television to try to prove a point. Like, Kyle I just don't get Kyle sometimes, and I want to feel bad for her because maybe she is going through something. You know what I'm saying? We all go through stuff as human beings and people in life. You know what I'm saying? Especially being in the industry, in the spotlight. So I want to feel bad for her. But then when she go and do stuff like that, it's like, no, get her, Sutton, get her. She ain't had your back in almost 2 years, anyways. I'm glad y'all brought up the miscarriage thing because that's another example of Kyle being a horrible piece of shit.
Oh,
another example.
I knew it was coming.
A horrible friend, and I'm just glad Sutton is finally putting her on front line and talking about her business, and she wants to talk about everybody else's business and want everybody to be honest and just put it all out there on the table. Well, you put it all out there. Who is Morgan and who is she to you? What's going on? Why are you working out so much? Why are you wearing another wedding band than the one that you normally wear? Like, you answer these questions, ma'am, since you want to ask and question everybody else, because if the roles were reversed, she would not have hesitated to drag Sutton. So I am here for it.
Okay.
So Demisio, you would have said, "What about your lesbian relationship?"
I definitely would have.
It's so appropriate.
I 100% would have. I enjoy seeing Kyle when she's on the defense, because to see Kyle spiral and rant and rave and how them curls was shaking, honey, you could tell. She was
little curls.
Them curls was shaking, baby, at the table. I was glad to see it. Seeing Kyle put under pressure, because she deserved it. She's horrible.
You kind of sound like Denise tonight, Demisio.
Demisio, they said you sound like Denise tonight. You had something to drink?
I'm not even gonna do that with y'all.
It took you a long delay. I guess that's a yeah.
You on that box wine, ain't no?
Not the little box wine. All right, Demisio, thank you. Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye,
Demisio.
I'm weak. Demisio is not on. No.
He finna text me, baby.
Okay.
Demisio
doesn't even do hookah. Okay. So with that being said,
box wine.
All right, y'all. Well, listen. Next week's episode looks like it's gonna be another good episode. It looks like Sutton is gonna continue in her big setback. She goes against not only Dorit, but she also goes against the newbie Anne-Marie, who is questioning her about, her esophagus. So we're gonna see more. I need to remind myself to wear that shirt. Am I even on the panel next week? I don't even know. But if I
you host.
Okay, well,
check the template. Check the template.
And I'm gonna have to.
I'm off unless we do another Big Four next week. I'm here.
Which we may need to.
Can I just say something really quickly before we go?
Oh God.
Go ahead.
Girl, I'll beat your ass. Okay, I want to say happy birthday to my great grandmother who's turning 95, and she's actually watching us. So happy birthday, grandma!
Happy birthday! You carried on like that with Granny watching,
Jamie.
Absolutely.
If there was ever time for your balloons, it's now. Do it.
I literally Googled how to turn it off, and I literally turned them off.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So you don't want to do that for his grandmother? Wow.
Okay.
I don't know.
95. Oh wow.
Hold on, I'm turning it back on. Hold on, here we go.
Hurry up.
You gotta say pink hand wave.
All right, y'all. Listen, we're gonna get out of here. We thank you guys for watching. It was a great episode. Make sure y'all check out our other shows. I always say thank you, Chase. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Sammy. Oop, Jamie. Oop, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
And shout out to Love Philbert. I saw you in the comments. Thank you, Jazz, Sammy in the chat, Demisio, to our callers, Demisio, our house, and Kyra. Samira was here. The Haitian Empress was
Isabel.
Content, main tips and tricks. Everybody who watched tonight, thank you all for watching, supporting us, and we will see you guys next time. Okay, good night and sleep tight or something like that.
Watch.